the world's most advanced cold wallet for the new generation of cryptocurrency lovers.
So if you are interested in buying this decent wallet, you can find a link in the description down below where you will get a 20% discount. Thank you very much, and let's dig in the video.
What's up, XRP family? Thank you guys for joining the video for today. So this is either going to be a video with two parts or it's going to be a long one, because buckle up, we have some things to get into and they look very interesting. Now, if you go back to all the news on XRP and what Ripple is actually doing, I'm not going to pull it up for you right now, but it's just a known thing. A known thing is that Ripple is actually very dominant in Asia. They are already doing like 60-70% of the cross-border payments in Asia. You can go look it up. They work with the Bank of Thailand. They work with all the banks there, Japan. They are big in Asia, right? So that's a fact. That's something that we know. Now, I'm going to show you a paper, guys, that is very, very interesting. Now, this is Deutsche Bank Corporate Bank. In November 2022, high-value payments in Europe and cross-border payments globally will transition to ISO 20022. Ahead of this key milestone, we launched fifth and final edition of our guide to ISO 222 migration. Now, this is very interesting because here we are going to see the actual plans that are going to happen, and this is absolute proof that there is a big change coming starting from November 2022, right? It's 100% proof. This is fact. I'm gonna download the white paper and I'm gonna show you guys what they are saying, when they're gonna implement it. It's gonna be different for all countries. So for example, the Fedwire, which is also working with Ripple, go look up Volanti Technologies. They do Ripple payments on Fedwire US cross-border payments, but that's gonna actually be finished in 2025. But that's not why we're here now. We're gonna look at Europe. We're gonna look at Asia, which is connected to ISO 222, which we know Ripple is already doing 70-80% there. So this paper actually gives us a lot of clarification on how they're going to implement this. And I can tell you, by 2025, Ripple is going to be the standard. Can you imagine that? So it's going to be literally the standard. Everyone is going to use it as cross-border payment technology. It's just going to be there. So, and it's going to start this year in November, which is interesting, right? Because everything makes sense according to the timeline. Now let's dig in. So in 2019, we launched this series of guides to help the payments industry prepare for the upcoming migration. Progress since then has been patchy, but efforts are now reaching fruition. In November 2022, high-value payments in Europe and cross-border payments globally will transition to the new ISO 222 payments messaging standards. Now, I am assuming, guys, that you know what is ISO 222. If you don't, go look it up. I'm not going to get into that. But I'm going to show you guys what these guys have put together, and it's really crazy if you actually see everything coming to fruition. Now, this is the first part. Here we have Swift, which is going live from November 2022. Can you see? So nothing happened until now. November 2022, Swift is going live. Together with Europe, the Bank of England. Remember, Bank of England is very important. Here it says that they will start in April 2023, right? But listen, the swell event of Ripple is in London and it's in November. And that's not coincidence, guys. And that is why I'm showing you this. Everything connects with this paper. It's all here. Now here you can see some other stuff, some other countries. Fedwire, which I was talking about, is actually March 2025. So they're still kind of playing around with everything. And they say that this is RTGS. It just means it's real-time time payment systems. They call it names. They don't specifically actually name Ripple. Let's take a look if they actually, I didn't even look for that. No, they don't specifically call Ripple, guys, but that's not even, wait, let me check. Actually, if that's, no, they don't. But that's not even the case right here, because you can just see that everything makes sense. We already know that the Bank of England is working with Ripple. So just knowing these things, we already know here, for example, we already know that they're going to use Ripple. All of them. It's not coincidence anymore. The Asia Pacific region, let's take a look what they say about Asia. Several ISO 222 migrations took place in Asia in summer 2022. Now go and look what Ripple has been doing in 2022 during this whole lawsuit. Look what they have been doing. All you can see is that they have been partnering up with the biggest banks in Thailand, the biggest banks in Japan, the biggest banks in Asia, in the Philippines, everywhere. And look how it connects to this paper. Look again how this all comes together. Having upgraded to ISO 222 messaging format in August, the Thailand RTGS system, known as botnet, became one of the first payment infrastructures to introduce ISO 222 this year. Around the same time, the Malaysian RTGS introduced a coexistence phase that will last until 2024. Now, how interesting is this, guys? Everything comes together. Australia RETS is expected to introduce ISO 202 in November 2022, right? And it will last until November 2024. Different migration approaches. Market infrastructures will follow their own approach to the ISO 222 migration, and each different approach, be it phased like for like or a big bang. Now, what do they mean with big bang? It's just like a switch, right? They will just switch like boom, instantly. After the migration project, operations and the end customer in a variety of different ways. As such, when readying yourselves to the next migration, you cannot necessarily rely on your preparations for the one that came before. Variety of usage guidelines. While the message use guidelines of the larger market infrastructures are based on high-value payment systems plus market practice and are aligned with the cross-border payments and reporting plus, they are not the same across all markets and often only show differences at a detailed element level, right? So that is why they don't go into details. They call it RTGS, high payment system, blah, blah, blah. It's all Ripple technology behind it. Of course, there are others, but mainly we are talking about Ripple. There is a part that they also talk that it's gonna even start in England, because it's all starting in England. And that's the interesting part, because we all know that it's gonna start in London, guys. That's the whole message always. Final preparations. As the migration weekend scheduled for 18-20 November, the swell event of Ripple is, I think, 16-17 November. That's just crazy, guys. Look at the timing. It's insane to think that this is just coincidence, right? Required to complete a variety of pre-migration activities. These preparations are not limited to the introduction of ISO 222, but also the migration to the new liquidity management system, which introduces a new account structure. One of the priorities for participants has been connectivity testing for the production environment. In example, verifying that T2 real-time gross settlement system can be reached. This was completed in summer 2022. Crazy, guys, crazy. It's really going down, and it's not coincidence. Again, we were right from the beginning. We already knew that this was going to happen. And here they talk about Sterling area. In January 22, the Bank of England announced changes to the ISO 222 implementation plan for its RTGS system, known as CHAPS. The Bank of England decided to skip the initially planned like-for-like implementation stage and will now support enhanced ISO messaging from April 2023, right? But do not be fooled, because we all know everything starts 2022. And we literally see proof here. Previously, CHAPS was set to go live like-for-like phase, limited ISO messaging in June. So that was the initial plan. The enhanced phase, full ISO 222, would then have followed in February. The revised plan, which sees enhanced messages go live in April 2023, came after consultation with CHAPS participants, which considered a range of factors, including both known and emerging risks, dependencies with other global implementations of ISO 222. It's all a plan, guys. This is all a plan. The change will impact various aspects of ISO 222. For instance, the revised timeline creates a period between November 2022 Swift go live and April CHAPS go live. This is going to be the most interesting period of our time for Ripple, for XRP, we can see the price increase significantly. And this is not financial advice, but we can see that. So don't be surprised if you see the price increase significantly in between these dates, right? And I mean significantly, I mean huge amounts of numbers, guys, because they open up the liquidity. It's gonna be used finally. Up until now, it just had been lawsuit, banks using Ripple and all that stuff. But now we are really implementing this system. November is where it goes live. US dollar area. Since the previous edition in this series of guides, some changes have occurred in the US dollar area, which this I do not understand completely, guys. I do not know why they have chosen to actually, because they say here, while the two market infrastructure had planned to follow similar timeline implementation, this has now changed with chips preparing for a migration in November 2023 and Fedwire in March 2025. Now, the only thing I can think of is maybe because of the lawsuit, but I think the lawsuit was all staged, guys. Of course, look at this. This is a global plan. This is not something small. You think a small lawsuit or a lawsuit can prevent the whole global messaging system? It's not possible, right? So Federal Reserve Bank Fedwire, they actually use Ripple technology. You can go look it up. They have many tweets about it, like Valenti Technologies is behind it and all that stuff. But their go live date is November 2023, right? So this upcoming year is going to be absolutely crazy, and you can see 100% proof here, guys. This is it. If this is not gonna convince you, I don't know what will. They do not talk specifically about Ripple, but all the companies, all the banks, and all the global institutions that are using Ripple all have the similar date of going live and already working with Ripple. So there is no other conclusion, right? That this is going to be very, very interesting. And we can already see some price increase in Ripple, but I think from November it's really going to be different. We can see significant price increase. They talk about interoperability. This paper is very interesting, guys. If you want to have a look, go to Deutsche Bank website and you can actually access it here. You can also go to their Twitter account. So thank you very much. This was the first video. I will go through the other content in another video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.